What's up, guys? I am Nick Marino, and I'm going to talk to you about I, Tonya. Before I start filming, I'm going to first say that this is going to have a lot of spoilers, so, you're warned right now. You're going to get spoiled. I don't know how else to tell you guys. I'm warning you right now. This has got a lot of spoilers. Spoiler alert, warning you. Let's go. So this film is about the Tonya incident with the Olympics. For those of you who don't know, basically it was an incident where Tonya broke the kneecaps of one of her competitors in order to get by in the Olympics. At one point, she was the most hated person in the entire world. Tonya is known for Olympic ice skating. She's one of the only people that could perform a triple axel to the point where she did it many times. She could do it 100 times if she wanted to. It's shot as a documentary where it has all of the characters sitting down in chairs having an interview with us as an audience directly. And also, the actors are portraying the characters the whole time, in the interview process and with the actual story, which is really cool. Throughout the film, there was an underlying tone of aggression. We saw aggression mainly in the relationship abuse that Tonya had, not only with her husband, Jeff, but also with her mom. Her mom was more of a mental abuse, her husband was more of a physical abuse. Literally, there were hundreds of scenes where you just saw Tonya and her husband beat the shit out of each other. Like, I'm talking beating the living shit out of each other. I've never seen such crazy abuse. You watch this film and you're like, wow. No matter where she goes, she's abused. Also, breaking the fourth wall was a huge tool used in the entire film. In the middle of scenes, characters would break the fourth wall and speak to you directly. There's sort of this confrontational feel when somebody does that. When somebody breaks the fourth wall and speaks to you, it's almost like you're being confronted, and nobody likes that feeling. So the entire film had this feeling of being attacked, and they did that on purpose because they were trying to get that feeling of aggression, because that was Tonya's life. That's part of the reason why editing was nominated for an Oscar. The editing was very hard. If you notice the cinematography, the editing was very harsh, very sharp. Everything was to the next thing, very fast. It would show a title and then it would go straight to a scene, or they would cut in the middle of a scene and go to a flashback, and it was in the middle of a line, they would go and break the fourth wall, and the editing was very harsh, aggressive. If you notice, Tonya technically didn't do anything. She didn't technically break the kneecaps of her competitor. It was actually her ex-husband, Jeff, who talked with his friend, Shawn, and he was just trying to help her out. And Shawn took it to another level and created the incident. So it was technically Shawn who did the whole thing. The media covered it as if it was Tonya who did it. The one thing that we do see is Tonya's patterns. We see Tonya's patterns in her everyday life. And the one thing that remains true is that Tonya blamed everybody else but herself. There was also one scene where her ice skates weren't working, and she literally stopped in the middle of a performance. She was crying, and she was like talking about how her ice skates were broken or something, so she had to go and change them. So she blamed her ice skates. She victimized herself a lot. She used her mother and her ex-husband to propel herself in her career. We see through her habits and her patterns that she is not a good person. She blames everyone else but herself, and as we all know, how you do anything is how you do everything. There was one truthful moment in the entire film. It was at the very end when they told her that she couldn't skate anymore. And that was the most heartbreaking moment, because we saw that there was actually love there, because it was a question of her identity. They told her that she wasn't going to skate anymore. She even says, "This is all I have. It's all I know. It's all I am." And the movie put that there on purpose. The film emphasized that point on purpose so that we as an audience can see the humanity in Tonya, and so that we can actually relate to her character, because all of her entire lifestyle is completely crazy and chaotic and abusive and aggressive. But that was one moment where we as an audience could be like, I relate to that. Because we all have something in our lives that we connect to on a deep level, that if someone took that away from us, it would destroy us. That's our identity. That's all we have. And we see that in that one moment with Tonya when they take away the one thing that she knows how to do, the one thing that she is. Truth was a really big theme in this film. The entire film is trying to tell a truthful story with true events. On top of that, Tonya even says it in her interviews that she's just trying to be truthful about everything. She's just trying to be truthful about everything that happened. And this film is essentially trying to tell us, the audience, what actually happened with true events without giving us a biased opinion about Tonya as a person, so that we could see Tonya in truth of who she is, and so that at the end of the movie we can leave with a choice on how to feel about her. We can leave the theater feeling sorry for her, or we can leave the theater understanding why she was who she was and why people didn't like her. That's my 2 cents on it, guys. At the end of the day, do whatever you feel like doing. I hope that this movie review gave you better clarity or insight on the film, or maybe even motivated you to go watch it. It's your boy, Nick Marino. Have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Peace.